Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Eric. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of topics, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Eric. Well, actually, I'll just read it here. Hi, Matt. Hello there. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on the idea of a Nightmare on Elm Street prequel. I know how you feel about reboots, but I think there's enough allure with the springboard slasher to warrant an origin-type film for Freddy Krueger. It was centered on the parents and Springwood, who was suspect a local man of child touching. They band together, murder Freddy after the court system fails, only to become the first victims of his nightmarish escapades. I think this could achieve a few themes. It could give us an interesting look at the failure of the justice system, examine the paranoia of 1970s suburbia, and ultimately provide a new look at a famous cinema monster as he first appears in the community. Perhaps even place some doubt into whether or not Freddy was guilty in the first place. Maybe his evil gods were simply revenge on those that falsely accused and murdered him. Also interested in your thoughts on casting. I think Riley Keough would be great as Nancy's mother, and for Freddy, perhaps Walter Goggins or even a newcomer. Thanks. I'm sorry, Eric. I disagree with pretty much every single thing you said. I do not like the idea of an Elm Street prequel. There were, two things. Number one, they tried that back in the day with the director of Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, John Monaghan. And he was going to do one with Robert Englund. That fell through. And we kind of already saw that with the Freddy's TV series, Freddy's Nightmares, where the pilot, I believe was it No More Mr. Nice Guy? I forget the name of the pilot, but Tobe Hooper, who did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, among others, he directed the pilot. And yeah, it's low budget, so it doesn't have the finances, the cinematography, all that. But yeah, Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger, no makeup, showcasing what you said. The justice system, it failed because of they didn't read the rights correctly. So he got out because of a technicality. The parents got pissed, killed him. So technically you could watch that and you did what you wanted out of it. But again, a prequel never intrigued me, and here's why. I think you get more than enough info on Freddy Krueger based on the movies. Son of 100 maniacs, his mother, the nun, what happened to her, child was born, evil. You do get bits of his childhood in Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which I like the film. And I think those snippets are more than enough. You know, the classmate, son of 100 maniacs. Him getting beaten up by Alice Cooper. Taking revenge on that. And what more can you really bring into it? I don't think people are wanting, as you call it, to examine the paranoia of 1970s white suburbia. No. People don't want that in a Nightmare on Elm Street film. That sounds like something that Jordan Peele would do in whatever movie comes out next. That seems like agenda-driven, which there's more than enough of that in Hollywood today. Many people are sick and tired of that stuff. Provide a new look at a famous cinema monster. There's no need for a new look. The look works. Don't fix what's not broken. If it's not broken, you don't fix it. What really are you going to get out of it? You say, place doubt into whether or not Freddy was guilty in the first place. That is a terrible idea. No disrespect to Eric. I think that's a terrible idea for a number of reasons. Number one, they tried to do that in the Elm Street remake and it failed on its face. For many reasons. Number two, Freddy Krueger is evil incarnate. Why can't we have characters that are just evil incarnate? Not every character has to be some person that we feel sorry for. That's one of the problems they have with the Marvel superhero movies. Every villain now has to be like Loki. Well, he wasn't evil in Avengers Because if you watch the Loki TV show, well, there's more to it than that. He wasn't just an evil god. There's more to it than that. Ant-Man and the Wasp. The girl Ghost isn't really evil. She's Order Lawrence Fishburne. There's something more to it. What I read about Taskmaster, Black Widow. Well, she's not really evil. She's blah 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 blah. Blah. Like every fucking villain, like Spider-Man, like almost every fucking Spider-Man villain, they're not really evil. They're, you feel sorry for from Sandman to even Michael Keaton as Vulture, and the just. There's nothing wrong with a person just being evil, who wants to watch the world burn, who's deliciously evil, and loves it. He loves doing it. He adores doing it. And also, it makes no sense for falsely accused when the movies themselves, including, like, the movies themselves have showcased that Freddy does this. Why in the dreams you see little girls in the dreams? Because those are girls that he messed with and killed. Like, why do you think you have girls going, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you? Because those are the kids he murdered. If he's innocent, why would he do it? For shits and giggles? I'm just going to have these little kids randomly to fuck with people. And Nightmare on Elm Street 3, when Patricia Arquette sees a little girl, that's because it's a girl that Freddy killed. And maybe did more. Before or after killing. Who knows? I'm sorry, the whole, like, falsely accused thing does not make sense with Freddy Krueger. It would ruin the character. You don't need to feel sympathy for Freddy. He works best because he's deliciously evil. He loves what he does. And less and less, we have to, for some reason, storytelling and writers have to go into this. We have to feel sorry for the villain because somehow that makes it more interesting. Because if they're just evil, that's one note. No. There are evil people in the world. There are people that want to cut your head off, shove it up your ass just to laugh at it. And not everyone... It's like what Rob Zombie tried to do that with Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween. He tried to do that. You have the kid who's in this abusive family with William Forsythe talking shit. The only person... His sister giving shit. So he did the typical fucking checklist. He tortures and kills. He gets bullied in school. All the checklist. And that was boring as hell. It was typical. It was cliche. It was just a checklist of every typical fucking thing. And you know what worked better? The first Halloween where you didn't know and it was mysterious. There's nothing wrong with being mysterious. So many times they go back to explain shit and it's never for the better. Prometheus. Hey, remember that thing in Alien that looked cool and it's a skeleton and what is it? And the Nostromo finds it and what is this thing? And what came out of his chest? It was mysterious. Oh no, let's Prometheus. Let's explain it as these fucking albino looking bald-headed motherfuckers who love to touch the black oil from the X-Files TV show. Wow, that's so much more interesting. No! My mind can think of more interesting stuff, creative stuff. And everyone's going to have a different thought process. That is better. Not everything has to be explained. That's why prequels, are there exceptions? Yes, because there's always exceptions to the rule. There's always exceptions to the rule. But many times it's unneeded, unnecessary. You're explaining stuff that people don't really want to explain because it's never going to be that satisfying. Because if every person has their own interpretation, their own thought process, when you do it, this is it. Oh, that's what it is. So a good chunk of people are let down. One of the many reasons why Prometheus sucks, let alone Alien Covenant sucks. Like, that's where the aliens came from? Some dipshit David, the dumpster dickwad, dickhead, dickfuck android? Davy? Davy. He wanted to create some fucking aliens, and some alien does like a, hey, yay! While David goes, hey, you want my son? What the fuck? And the alien's like, yay! Pick me up, daddy. What the fuck was doing Alien Covenant? What the fuck that scene was about? Makes my fucking balls itch thinking about that movie. And you get the information in the first film. When the mom is telling Nancy, this is what happened, and that tells you everything. And then you see bits of it in Freddy vs. Jason, with Freddy, the little girl, licking the picture, putting it, like, to me, to make him sympathetic, to make him an innocent, that would just, again, destroy the character. Because then you would watch the... Even my cat is stretched at the door because he hates what the fuck I'm saying. My cat at the door, well, one of the cats I have. One of the cats I have is like, stop talking about this is fucking bullet. He wants to come in and shut me up. Put his tail up my ass, put his paw in my mouth, so I would shut up and stop talking about the idea of Freddy being sympathetic. So my cat's pissed. He literally wants to crawl in and kill me ninja style. Come in, go under the bed, come up. There you go, that's a movie. Ninja cat. A ninja cat that crawl in. That's a horror film. A cat that's a ninja and kills people. Be better than Strays. Off tangent, sorry, off topic. So again, if you want that, that's cool. I think an origin would just destroy the mythos, the identity of Freddy Krueger himself. I think we did enough that is satisfying and satisfactory. You already know enough information. If you watch the sequels, and in the first movie, they tell you the whole story. Freddy's Dead tells you all the newspapers info taught Elm Street 1 and 2. You hear about Freddy's mother in Elm Street 3. Even a bit in Elm Street 5, as bad as that is of a movie. So yeah, dude, you already get the... And again, that TV pilot of Freddy's Nightmares. And to be honest, Nightmare on Elm Street, people want to see the dream scenes. They want to see the imagination, creativity. Otherwise, it just becomes another guy killing people one by one with sharp implements. It'd be like a Halloween Friday the 13th. And again, you say only become the first victims of his nightmarish escapades. They already did that with the TV pilot. Been there, done that. And I just don't think it's that interesting of a take on it to justify a full-length movie on it. An interesting look at the failure of the justice system. Again, no one's going to a Nightmare on Elm Street film to see that. I'm sorry, they're not. That's not the audience for an Elm Street movie. I mean, again, interesting look at the failure of the justice system. Examine the paranoia of 70s white suburbia. You're not talking to the Elm Street franchise fans then, to be perfectly honest. You're not. Because that's not what the majority... There are exceptions, but the majority of fans don't want that shit in a Freddy movie. And again, a prequel would just ruin the mythos like many prequels have done. And yes, sometimes it is better for a person to just be flat out evil. Because now everybody needs to be, they're not quite evil, because that equals three-dimensional. No, there are people that are just flat out evil and sadistic. Welcome to the real world. Even my neighbor's roosters agree with me. So, and Riley Keough, I don't know who that is. Walter Goggins, no. I'm tired of seeing that guy in movies. He was in Predators. I think he would be as bad as Jackie Earle Haley. Redneck Krueger. My thought process, have no more Freddy Krueger films. No more Nightmare on Elm Street films. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. You cannot get better than him. Just don't do it anymore. If you want to do one more thing, do a video game and have Robert Englund do the voice. Do a video game in Nightmare on Elm Street where you go into different realms of dreams, and that would get your creative juices flowing, and make a video game of Nightmare on Elm Street. You have Robert Englund to voice the character, that way he doesn't have to put on the makeup, he just do the voice work. There you go, do an Elm Street video game. Or an animated film. You can do an animated film where Robert Englund's the voice of it. There you go, do an R-rated animated movie. What the story would be, I don't know. Because honestly, at this point, I might just move on, create new franchises. Some will fail, hopefully some will succeed and lead to more. Because if we don't start doing that, what are they going to look... Right now, they're looking to the 80s for the past. 70s and 80s to remake. What are they going to do 20 years from now? What are they going to look back on? What in today's age are they going to do? Because you know that's what Hollywood's going to do. What are they going to look back on? Let's see, what movies do we have? Oh, a Halloween film, another Chainsaw film, okay, another this, okay. What, they're on, what, Conjuring? Nah. So, I'm sorry, I think the whole idea is not needed and not warranted, and it would just ruin what was already said. What's already been part of the canon, so to speak. And you don't need to explain that much about Freddy Krueger. You got enough explanation. Well, I don't see any more info you really get out of it. I really don't. He's the son of 100 maniacs. His mom was a nun. He was fucked up as a kid. He killed people, killed girls and boys, and maybe molested them, do all that stuff. Vigilante justice. He comes back. Also, it would make no sense because you listen to all the dialogue Robert Englund says. Never one time do you get an inclination that he was an innocent guy who didn't do what was accused of him. So it'd be inconsistent. You look at all the dialogue, all the conversation pieces, everything that Robert Englund says, and all 7 Nightmare on Elm Street films, none of that adds up to what you're saying there. So, you know, there's no reason for a prequel. And you say a reboot, I don't want any more reboot. I'm fucking tired of reboots. We got a shitty Rambo 5. We had a shitty Bill and Ted 3. I'm tired of reboots. I'm tired of sequels. I'm tired of it. Just let it be. Let it die. Move on. There's always, yes, there can be an exception, but that's rare. No one's talking about Bill and Ted 3 anymore. When people tell me, this is the best movie, I'm like, yeah. That's why you haven't heard anybody talk about it. No one talks about Bill and Ted Face the Music. Because, in my opinion, it wasn't that good of a movie. It wasn't that good of a sequel. It took a shit on the characters. Oh, they're fucking useless. It's unless their daughters did something. That's the way I interpret it. There's many other factors of that movie I dislike. Said in my review. It goes on and on and on. So. But if you disagree, that's cool. Teach their own. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.